Welcome. And Jenna comes in second. Amir comes in first. Jenna comes in second. Welcome everyone to Zen Chill with the avatar known as Tao Chi Kai. Today is the 5th of September 2022, and I welcome you and I thank you for sharing some time, sharing this space, this place where we shall relax, get comfortable, become peaceful, a space where we can share, maybe just to let go of the stresses of the day, and just be safe in the knowledge that we are together. Hi Steely Matthews, nice to see you or hear from you again. Hey David, it's so nice to hear from you, bro. So for those you don't know, David is someone that sees me regularly for some mind and body recalibration. Always a pleasure to hear from David. He's a very nice guy. Beautiful, loving energy, very positive, and yes, it's always a pleasure to help David the best that I can. Thank you, David, for joining. I've started the stream today a little bit earlier than the last, just so it can coincide with my day, and as the streams continue they will get a bit earlier and earlier, but hopefully it will help those of you who are listening to also sleep a little bit earlier. As they say, the early bird catches the worm. If you get a good night rest, you can wake up nice and bright, nice and shiny, ready for anything and everything that life can offer you in complete abundance. Hola Marco. Techno Samurai writes, hello friend from South Africa, many blessings wished on you. Well, thank you, Techno Samurai. I send my love and my gratitude to South Africa, and many blessings to you and your family. Lots of love, hearts and emojis from Team Challenging. Will Baker writes, where are you calling from? That's an interesting question. Shall I go existential or shall I just be literal? At the moment it's London, UK, just gone past 10:30 PM, Monday the 5th of September 2022, and here we are together in this little stream that I have entitled Zen Chill with Tao Chi Kai. That is I, the avatar known as Tao Chi Kai. Jenna writes, these sessions are so relaxing. Thank you so much. Well, thank you, Jenna, for joining again. It's always a pleasure. It's always nice to see similar faces, I guess, virtual faces. Because although I cannot see you, in my mind's eye, I can see you. Wolfcat Wildcat writes, hello from Canada. Hello Wolfcat. Greetings and love from the United Kingdom. Javier Godard Catalian wrote something but has been retracted. I wonder why. So please, before you write a message, have a little think. Take your time. It's almost like we're writing letters to one another. You know, those romantic days of past when we would write letters to one another. We would take our time and we would share, tell stories and tales, to respond, to correspond. So take your time. Techno Samurai writes, "Thank you, my friend, in troubled times. Here, peace and quiet is needed." Well, thank you, Techno Samurai. It's good to hear from you again. So I'm not sure how my sound levels are. Please let me know. Is the sound comfortable for you? So I went to a place called Devon during the weekend with my life partner, my wife, and we went there with some friends on top of the hill in Devon, looking down on the town, on the quite quaint town of Devon. It was a beautiful time. We had a bonfire going. We made music together. There were flutes, drums, guitar. It was wonderful. We sang, we danced, we enjoyed each other's company, we shared each other's woes and jubilations. And it was such a beautiful time. Just to spend time in nature is such a wonderful thing. Especially if you live in the urban jungle like I. So every now and then I like to get away, spend time in Mother Nature's bosom, just to let go, just to be at peace, just to be reminded that everything's fine, that life, that everything is just the way it's meant to be. Everything is needed. Still Matthew writes, relaxation is key. Techno Samurai writes, sound is amazing, thanks. I'm wearing my headphones. Yes, and everyone else, if you are, or if you can, get comfortable. Find yourself a nice, comfortable position. Maybe have a little wiggle around. Let your body stretch. If you're lying down, maybe take some gentle breaths in. Smile as the breath comes in. Feel your body expand. And then sigh. And let your body just fall deeper. Let your being become grounded. Neve White from Ireland. Well, hi Neve. It's nice to meet you. Thank you for joining us. It's wonderful, isn't it? Just to take some time to ourselves. Just to let go. So some of you might be listening to this during the day. Maybe you're driving to work and you need some reminder of just to take a few breaths every now and then. Just to remind you that everything's fine. You know, you got deadlines, but hey, the time is always now. Some of you right now might be studying or working at your desk. Hey, just give your body a nice move around every now and then, eh? maybe set a timer on. Get off that chair and have a little walk around. Give your body a little move. No one's going to mind. If anything, you might even encourage people around you to do the same thing. Corey Kwok says, "Hi from the Island Man. Love this relaxing streams. Really help." Well, I'm glad it helps, Corey. I'm glad it helps. Darryl Robson writes, "This stream is beautiful and just what I need right now." Big love heart emoji. Oh, it's so nice. It's good. Let's do this together, everyone. Taking a gentle breath in through your nostrils. Smile as the breath comes in. Feel your body expand. And sigh. When we sigh, it's such a wonderful thing. Sighing is like a acknowledgement, a reassurance that everything's fine. When we sigh, this resonance, this vibration, this vibrato, this internal wave that's emanating from inside, as you allow that to happen, it's almost like it's an internal massage. So you breathe in through the nostrils, smile, and then sigh. And each time you do this, your body starts becoming much more relaxed. It starts settling in, but at the same time, your perspective will start becoming much more centered, much more present in the moment, becoming very acknowledging, very aware that you're inside a body, and this body right now just wants to relax, which allows you just to behold. There's no worries now. This is your time. This is your time. Enjoy. Ray Roberts, my beautiful, my wonderful love. There's a massive shout out to Ray Roberts, everyone. He's a fellow YouTuber, a very dear friend of mine. Much love to you, bro. I'm so glad you can join us today. And I'm sure you've been making the world smile with your presence wherever you've been today. I do encourage everyone here, if you got some time, check out Ray Roberts' YouTube channel. He creates some beautiful content, and yeah, enjoy. Robin Mulbray writes, "Phenomenal. Everyone needs this in their life." Fleck Diesel writes, "Kai, my brother, how are you?" Well, Fleck Diesel, it's good to hear from you again, brother. This is your third consecutive time being present. I do notice, I read all the comments. I might not respond to every comment, but I read them. But yes, Fleck Diesel, I'm doing very well, brother. I've been working today, trying to help people as best as I can. It's always nice, it's always rewarding, always feels really good when I feel that I've helped someone. And just to give them a hug at the end of the session and see that smile, see them moving just a bit more looser, a bit more spring in their step. It's such a wonderful feeling. And whenever I help people, it's always my intention to offer them some kind of something to take away with them. During the session, it's all about helping to my best abilities, but also I want them to take away with them a flavour, a perfume, something that's going to last, something that they can take away and hopefully you can share with those that are interactive by the way their being is. I really feel that the medium of massage or the medium of therapy or any kind of I guess it's just being loving, isn't it? When we're loving to one another, it begets more love. So if I can help in person, and if they could get back to their normal life and they still have that resonance, you know, people around them will feel it as well. They'll make more wholesome decisions in their life. They might be a bit more patient when listening to others. They might even see more opportunities that were once where they could not see. So it's really important. Versace Tudor writes, "Hello Kai, hope all is well." Yes, all is well. You know, sometimes when we think or when it seems like things are not going our way, it's nice just to take a step back. You know, it's almost like coming out of your body and looking at your situation from a bird's eye view. Maybe imagine you're an eagle, or maybe imagine you're the sun looking down on the planet or looking down on you and just observing what's really happening. And you will find that whatever you've been worrying about has just been what you've been thinking. You know, just remind yourself that no matter what you think is happening, just be present in the moment. Be reminded, be thankful that you're breathing, that you can even have the capacity to worry. And if you feel that you're in disarray, if you feel a bit disheartened, what I recommend is if you can't change your perspective on things, focus on your breath. If the breath is not too obvious, what you do is take a conscious decision to hold the breath. Hold it for as long as you can. Hold it until your heart starts beating out of your chest. Hold it until your body becomes uncomfortable. Hold it. And then let go. And when you let go, really observe how it feels. Just to allow the breath to come and go again. You will feel a sense of euphoria. You will experience a brief moment of liberation. And I promise you, everything that you've been worrying about has disappeared. Because all you've been thinking about was, oh, when am I going to let go and allow the breath to come and go? Do this whenever you feel in disarray. And then once you can observe and behold the breath, keep riding that wave. Let it be the backdrop. And that will get you through the day, it will get you through life. MMM writes, "Keep it up, bro." With a cool emoji face. Still Matthew writes, "I need a light like yours. It's pretty cool." Yes, Still Matthews, it's a crystal salt lamp or salt lamp that a friend of mine gifted me on my birthday a couple of years back, and I really enjoy it. It's got the way it emanates light is very soft, very relaxing. You know, it's almost like we're in a cave somewhere. But yes, it's very nice. It's a crystal salt lamp. Annabelle Collister writes, "I was struggling to sleep, but now I'm listening to Kai's relaxing and soothing voice. Perfect." Oh, Annabelle, I'm so glad you have found us. We've been waiting, and now you have reunited with us. And we're here just relaxing, just being present in the moment, just allowing ourselves some time, just to let go of the day, This is your time, Annabelle, and I thank you for sharing it with us. Sidewinder writes, Kai, man, how you doing, dude? I'm doing okay, bro. I'm doing fine, and I hope you are too. And if not, you're gonna be fine. Everything's fine, everything's okay. Corey Croc writes, I feel like I've become more aware of myself recently. And when I drop my ego, I realize I struggle a lot socially in some situations. How do I overcome this? Well, Corey, the first thing to remember is that we're human, you know? It's okay to feel the way we feel, even if sometimes it feels difficult. It's all about experience, but also it's about perspective. Whenever we speak about ego, we are talking about the character that we believe ourselves to be. This ego is our perspective of what we believe ourselves to be. You know, we need ego. If we weren't egos, we wouldn't be able to converse with one another. We might as well be a tree or a rock. So, you know, just know that things aren't always bad. And likewise, things aren't always good. And all of it is good. Sometimes I describe life as like a roller coaster ride. Sometimes there's the dips and the dives. Sometimes there's the high and the climbing up in the sky. But hey, when you look at it, it's just one ride. There's always going to be ups and downs. So just remind yourself, it's fine to be however you are feeling. But what will really help you if you feel, you know, confusion and disarray is what I always say, watch your breath. Watch your breath. Remind yourself if you have been allowing the breath to come and go. And if you can't, consciously hold on to the breath as long as you can until eventually all you will be thinking about is, when am I going to let that breath come and go? And if you practice that often, after a while, whatever you've been worrying about, will disappear. So yes, that's the best way. That's the most effective way. Vice City 4 writes, riding the wave of love. Hey Vice City, it's nice to see you again. Still Matthew writes, yeah, Etsy has them for sure. So for those who don't know what Etsy is, it's I think it's an online company that sells these crystal lamps and other items that you can buy. Wolfcat Wildcat writes, the world needs this wisdom. Well, Wolfcat Wildcat, the wisdom that you realize and you acknowledge in me is recognized and realized in you. Claire left a red circle emoji. That's a beautiful symbol, that is. Jim Mosh writes, hi man, been following your content for a few years now and appreciate your message of paying it forward and generally helping out your community. I couldn't agree more. Well, thank you. For me, that's what I was kind of born for, you know, when I was reborn. If we didn't need each other's help, if we didn't need anyone, there would only be one human being on this planet. So that's why there's many of us. We need one another. You know, we need to meet in the middle if you want to build bridges, if you want to build homes and communities and families, if you want to share, we need each other. And the best thing to do is just to live by example. That's how I live my life. I stopped pointing fingers. I stopped judging. I stopped comparing. And just became what it was that I was seeking. No more asking, no more trying to seek. The seeker becomes the finder. All questions cease. Phrasal writes ASMR Kai. Vice64 writes, here I am in Nigeria, somehow wondering if or when I'd ever get worked on by you. Oh, if wishes were reality. Well, you never know, Vice City, you never know. We can only hope for the future, isn't it? So, we never know. Claire writes, amazing, with a massive red love heart. Ice Bear writes, hello, with an emoji with hearts and a big smile. Steel Matthew writes, I like the lower light. Yes, I'm getting one. I might get a rose quartz one because rose quartz is one of my faves. Yeah, bro, I'll just do it. Just get one and enjoy. Jamosh writes, glad I've been able to catch one of these live streams live. Well, I'm glad you've been able to join us. I'm going to try my best to make this a regular thing, and hopefully it will help whoever needs some kind of reminder just to let go, you know. Just to really take some time for yourself. Sometimes we often distract ourselves from giving ourselves some time, but it's nice every now and then just to allow yourself some time. When we speak of self, we speak of the body and the mind. So self is to do with body. So if you want your body to relax, just allow it just to do nothing, while you, the ego, the character, the perspective, this awareness that has no body, you can just behold your body relaxing, behold the stresses and the strains melt and dissipate away. Just behold, safe in the knowledge that everything is happening all by itself. Owen Thomas writes, hi Kai, I have found myself holding on to resentment from past betrayals. Often I experience these emotions are triggered in my day-to-day life. Do you have any techniques or advice to let go? Thanks. So Owen, I mention this often, but I will say it again, and I do not mind saying it. What really helps is to watch the coming and going of your breath. When we have resentment, it tends to be something that's happened in the past, and there was a physical reaction to it. This physical reaction could be maybe the clenching of the jaw, maybe the clenching of the fists, maybe the shrugging of the shoulders. And when we do these kind of things, they're very subconscious. It's our physical body reflecting what our psyche or our character is translating from what's happening. And when we do this without being aware, these tensions and these physical anomalies, they stop building up till one day, like layers on an onion, more layers upon layers grow upon other layers, until eventually you can't remember why you held on to these resentments. So what really helps is to watch the breath, because during those moments when you're suffering or when you experience these things, without knowing, you was making the body hold its breath, and this plays part to this tension in the body. So what you can do to counteract this, to almost travel back in time, is to watch the coming and going of breath. If the breath is not obvious, if it's not too evident, what you do is consciously hold on to the breath. It's almost like closing the door to not let the breath come or go. Keep holding on to that door, watching and observing how your body reacts to you consciously holding on. Hold on for as long as you can. Keep observing how your body's reacting to this until eventually you're going to burst and let go, and then the breath might rush in or it might rush out. Keep on repeating this process, and eventually you will notice how your body starts relaxing, and then those residual past resentments that have been interpreted or have been represented as stress in your body, those too will expel. They will be exorcised. They will leave. They will go yonder. I hope that helps. Keep on trying, keep on practicing. I promise you, it gets easier, and it's such a beautiful journey to do this, because you start to observe and study yourself. What better to be a master of than thyself? Michael Burns writes, listen to you every day, out by the pool, on the beach, in a bed. Your soothing, whispering voice is timeless. Thank you. Well, thank you, Michael. Thank you for taking your time to listen, to acknowledge, to behold. Darrell Robson writes, I never realized before, staring at a clock really helps you stop worrying about the past or future and just relax in the moment. It's interesting, isn't it? When we stare at the clock, we notice that the second hand, this immediate thing, just ticks, keeps on going
Character
forward.
is how you treat those who can do nothing for you.
Keeps on going forward. And you realize that that's how life is. It's always going forward, like the river. You know, the river of life is always flowing forward. This is why we say that everything is happening by itself. It's always going forward. Always going forward. Joe Orlando writes, how do I clear my mind to truly de-stress and relax? Your videos are amazing, thank you. So Joe, you've asked a very profound question here. How do I clear my mind? One must ask, what is mind? And whether or not it is ours. Because if you think about it, right now, everything that you're perceiving is a combination, a correlation, a amalgamation, a coming together of the senses that your body can sense. Your eyesight, your hearing, your sense of touch, smell, taste. And all of these are being interpreted in the confines of what we describe as mind. So really what you think of yourself is actually no body, but then it's confined in a mind. How can it be yours if you are of it? See, that's getting pretty deep, isn't it? Very deep. But on a more conscious level, if you find that your mind is unruly, if it is agitated, like a tornado or a tsunami, what really helps is to allow your body to move. Allow your body to de-stress. Allow your body to move. Let it move like the ocean, or like your inner ocean. If you do this, all these things that are kind of rumbling or rolling around in your mind, they'll start dissipating with this movement. But what really helps, once again, and I'll repeat myself again, allow the breath to come and go. If you're too distracted by the mind, let's look at something else. Behold the breath coming and going. This is something that is very tangible, something that is very immediate, because these things that you are watching or beholding or observing in your mind, they're concepts, they're intangible, they're within a space, a confine, an abyss, they're in your imagination. But if you can just behold and observe the breath, keep on watching the breath, and you'll find, you'll be reminded that you are inside a body, and this body wants to let go. It wants to be free, free of the trappings of what you believe yourself to be. Watch the breath come and go. Watch the breath come and go. Remind yourself to let the breath come and go. Like a love, like a bird, allow it to come and go freely. EB writes, we appreciate all the hard work that you do, Tao Chi Kai. And I appreciate your acknowledgement, EB. The good you see in me is recognized by the good in you. Vice City 4 writes, do you mind me asking of Daniela Diamond Miranda? I love that video you made with her standing, and I admit I wanted more videos. I've watched that video way too many times. Vice City 4, this is a space where we can let go. If this is a query that is on your mind, and now we have this platform, then please pray tell, ask away, and I shall always try to answer. Owen Thomas writes, thank you, that was very helpful, and I resonated a lot with your words, such as the clenching of my shoulders. I will practice to come back to the breath. Well done, Owen. You see how quickly you was able to grasp what I was conveying. What I speak of is coming from lived experience. I rarely read anymore. There was a time when I would read a lot. And then after my rebirth, when I returned back to the UK, I gave away a lot of my books. I stopped reading. I realized that the only way I could learn was through experience. So when I speak of this meditation, this meditational practice, or whatever I speak of, it's all from experience. First hand, straight from the horse's mouth, as they say. But you was able to really grasp onto what I was conveying, because we all inherently know or inherently understand what it is I'm speaking of. When we take time to watch the breath come and go, we gradually start to understand, or at least are able to observe, what makes us us. We are able to understand why we see ourselves the way we see ourselves. It's almost like slowly taking apart a clock, getting to know each and every cog and clog, every spring, learning the mechanisms inside of how it works. So when you watch the breath come and go, it's such a beautiful medium to allow you just to behold and observe and learn more about what you think you are. And eventually, ooh, I don't want to give the game away. You're going to have to try for yourself. Almir Mekonovich writes, it's 12:02 a.m. So thank you for that. So it's just gone past 5 minutes past 11 p.m. It's Monday the 5th of September 2022. And I welcome and I thank you for joining this piece of art that we are creating together. one that I have entitled for now Zen Chill with Tao Chi Kai. And whoever you are, whenever you are listening to this, I send you love, blessings, in good spirit. And also I want to thank everyone who's here at this very moment, in this present moment, sharing this space, sharing this breath that we are breathing in and out. Because believe it or not, guys, we're breathing in the same breath and we're breathing out the same breath. But I thank you. It's wonderful. Oh, we have Lewis Poole. Who is a member of Tao Chi Kai. What an honor. Lewis, I don't often thank my members enough, and I'm very grateful that you have taken your time to join us, and I greatly appreciate the continued support that you have been giving myself to allow me to do what it is that I do. So thank you, Lewis. Thank you deeply. Thank you dearly. Gary writes, what is the phrase you say before giving a massage? I'm not sure what phrase you are mentioning, what you are saying. What I tend to do before I lay my hands upon another is I would take a brief moment and go inward, just to remind myself, just to really be present, to really allow my perspective of myself to harmonize, to center, to be reunited and unified with my body, my temple of flesh and blood, so that whoever I'm helping, I will be able to give them my all. So my mind will not be wandering elsewhere while my body is with them. I do this. So it's not a phrase that I will speak out loudly. It's something that I will have it's an inward moment that I have. And I have inward moments quite often. Some of my friends that know me, they find that I giggle often. You know, I might be with a friend spending time and they'll just see me giggling by myself. And the reason why is I'm being internal. I'm laughing at my ego very often. I'm laughing at some of the things that run through the mind, and it's very, very funny. Yes. I hope that answers your question, Gary. And if not, please elaborate, and I'll try to answer. Vice City 4 writes, forgive me, Tai or Kai. I just wanted more videos with her. The one you made with her has helped me mentally. Okay, I'll ask Daniela if she would like to make another video, and this will take it from there. And I'll let her know that you enjoyed watching that video as well. Wolfcat Wildcat writes, it was a long time ago, but did you ever find that homeless guy you gave a massage to? I'm not sure which one you are talking about, Wolfcat Wildcat. So in my everyday life, usually before it was like either a Friday or maybe a Monday, depended. I would take a day out of my week and I would go into the streets and I would help whoever I felt needed it and were willing for my help. And it wasn't until my nephew, this one occasion, who came along with me, and he managed to film that massage that I did with Charlie, when the world was able to take a little glimpse at what I do. You know, I massage or I help a lot of people, and quite often I don't see them again. The homeless, especially homeless people, they would beg in certain spots, but then they will move. And what I tend to do is I try not to help the same person again. I try not to be too entangled. You know, for me, it's all about helping in the present moment. I'm very impromptu, I'm very Zen, I'm very Tao. I don't want to make it something that is, I don't want them to rely on me. I don't want anyone to rely on me. I've often said that I do not want people to rely on me as though I am an aspirin or a paracetamol. I want to be regarded, or I want to be felt like a gentle breeze upon the shoulder. Maybe that beautiful moment where you catch the sun ray silhouetting through the clouds or the branches underneath a tree as you lie on the grass. I want to be that. I want to be that bird that you might hear singing just when you needed it. And there's a thing that I say, that I am felt yet never known. So the last thing I want is to be relied upon, because then it would make me your slave. It would make me your servant. I'm free, and when I choose to help, I help unconditionally. I help full-heartedly. I give my all. But to help again and to come at every beck and call, this will surely make my life end sooner than it should. So that's why I don't often see the same people again. And I hope, dear listeners, dear ones that are present, that you can somehow relate or understand or comprehend what it is I'm conveying. Because, we all need one another, isn't it? I described that we are like birds flying alone together. This means that I can't fly for you, and you can't fly for me. But every now and then, I might come fly by and remind you that, hey, you need to flap both those wings a bit more evenly. Yeah. You need to, allow that breath to come and go. That's me. I can't be your wing. I've got to let you fly by yourself. I can't let you rely on me. I can't be your opiate, I can't allow you to become addicted to me. And this is why avatars like myself, that's why we have to go one day. And this is just the way it is. And I feel it is the natural way. One, two, three, four, five writes, hello Kai, sometimes when I'm watching the breath, I become more anxious. Do you have any tips for this? That's a good start to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You must continue on that. By watching the breath, you notice that you are becoming more anxious. So now, observe this anxious. Study it. Continue watching the breath. Observe this anxious. Eventually, this anxious will become something else. Observe that while you're watching the breath. And keep on observing, keep on studying. What seems uncertain, what seems like it never ends, eventually you will find the peace and liberation you are seeking. Just keep on watching, keep on beholding. I hope that helps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Corey Quirk writes, can anyone be reborn? The future is unwritten after all. Yes, so I mentioned that I was reborn. So this is my own understanding, Everyone has their own belief system, isn't it? So for now, I can only speak from my perspective. And I apologize if I say something that might offend anyone, but it's always coming from my own experience and my perspective. When I speak about when I was reborn, it was because the character that I had once played it wanted to die, but it didn't know that it was a character. So it tried to kill the body that was made from flesh and blood. And when I had committed suicide and died, I had what we describe as an out-of-body experience. But the thing that was experiencing this out-of-body experience, it was no longer that character. It was something else, something that was not tethered. And when it re-entered the body, it really allowed itself to possess the whole of the body, to become at one with the body. It was almost like an embryo, you know, like a little fetus developing within the body. And eventually, when I was able to swim back to shore and clambered upon the rocks and started to practice meditation, in the state of meditation, this was when the avatar known as Tao Chi Kai was born. And I often say that I'm still there now, meditating. Joe Orlando writes, thank you so much for breath, come and go, simple tactic. I will take this gift on, many thanks. Well, I'm glad that helps, Joe. You see, for me, the most simple thing is really what we just need, you know. Sometimes when we are too cerebral, too analytical, when we look too deep into things, we tend to make it too complicated. We tend to start thinking more than doing. So yes, simplicity is key. Especially Leslie writes, this was awesome, thank you. Big love heart. Perfect meditation for the night before school begins. Love the breath work. Casey writes, oh yeah, the guy with the long hair, the dreadlocks. Oh, that's right, it was Charlie. So you're referring to Charlie. So my nephew, he started working at a coffee place outside King's Cross. And he had bumped into Charlie a bunch of times and had even offered for Charlie to come and, you know, have a coffee with him. And JJ said that Charlie was given a place to stay by the council, but due to circumstances, he lost his home and became homeless again. And this is just the way he has chosen to live his life at the moment. Something that I said to my nephew, I said to JJ, I said, you know, don't feel guilty, don't feel bad when someone is a certain way. We must all allow one another to live our life however we wish. We've always got a choice, we've always got a choice. And even though at the moment the choices we have made might seem that they have given or have taken us to a predicament, to a dead end or to a crossroad, whatever it is, just know that in the grand scheme of things, from life to death, it's one big adventure. It's one big journey. And this journey is, you know, it's got canyons and valleys and thick jungle and flowing rivers and deserts. You know, it's not going to be all meadows and paradise wherever we go. And that's the beauty of life. It's all about experiencing. It's all about gaining wisdom and inner knowledge. So no matter how it is in your life in the moment, just know it's a big adventure. Feel blessed, feel humbled, feel grateful that you're experiencing this, even if it feels bad at the moment. Because hey, it don't rain all the time. Joe Jordan writes, yay, my favorite YouTuber is live. Well, Joe Jordan, thank you for joining. Thank you for being here. It's an honor that you are sharing this space and time with us. Gary writes, apologies, it sounds like Ometa Fwam. Sorry, I've completely butchered it there. And you accompany it with a bow and one hand up in prayer. Oh, you're talking about my mantra, my mudra. So Gary, this thing that I say, Om Nidufu Wa Om, this is my mantra. This is something that was born from my meditation. So when I had reborn and I started to meditate, one day when I was sat underneath a tree, I'd been sitting there for I don't know how long, but all of a sudden this thing, this sound, it came out of me, and that was the sound that was made. It's a sound that is completely unique to me, and whenever I utter it, and it is from one breath, you know, it's one breath, and then when I go towards the end, it's a breath in again. So this mantra, I can repeat it indefinitely because it resonates with the cycle of my breath. But this is unique to me. I contemplated after this, like, why was it that this mantra came to me? And it made me think of the other mantras that we hear people say, and I realized that a very similar, or maybe the same thing, was how the other mantras were born. So when we mimic other people's mantras, we don't really fully can comprehend what their mantra means. So I say to some individuals that ask me, I say to them that when the time comes, your mantra, your symbol will appear for you, and only you will know what it means, and it will be unique to you. And whenever you utter or make that mantra, it will remind you of that moment again. So I hope that answers your question or query, Gary, and I thank you for asking that, because it is indeed a very important question, and one that I'm glad that I was able to share. Om Nidufu Om. Y64 writes, I'm guessing Wildcat was speaking about the homeless guy with dreadlocks that broke down after you helped him. Thank you, Kai, for accepting to ask Daniela on what it is an iPad zombie. So when you speak of iPad zombie, you're mentioning the video with my nephew. You know, he had spent so much time during lockdown just in front of on the couch and watching his iPad. And because he was not moving around, his body became stagnant. So his bold shoulders and his neck hunching forward, and his back arched, and his legs tight. This was all residual. These were all results of him being on the iPad for too long. So I labeled that video helping iPad zombies. Imagine AD writes, how my comment gets deleted. I'm not sure, maybe, I'm not sure. There's certain filters that I've left on, things like derogatory, defamatory, and other possibly abusive languages, so I'm not sure. Wildcat writes, Charlie was the one. I hope wherever he is, that he's doing better. Yes, I have complete faith that Charlie is living the life that he wishes for now. And I have faith that he will find the life that he yearns for eventually. Puda writes, even your family can't rely on you? Well, To a certain extent, Buddha, yes. So with my parents, whenever I go to visit them, if I see that their body, their temple of flesh and blood needs a little maintenance, a little reminder, I will help them. But I will not go there every day. And I'll come there and I'll say to my father, one of the first things I say to my father is, "Oh, Father, are you still practicing?" One of the first things that I ask my mother is, "Mother, are you still practicing?" So both my parents, they practice their family tradition. My father practiced our family tradition, Li Qi Gong, which is what I practice. And my mother, she practiced her family tradition, yoga. So these are one of the first things I ask my parents. And as they get older, I help them. You know, this is the circle of life, isn't it? Our parents, who are guardians, they bring us into this world, and they try to their best to help us all that they can. So it's full circle when we do the same for our parents and our guardians and our elders. But yes, I do not allow even my own family to rely on me as though I am a paracetamol or aspirin. Because, like I said, we are like birds flying alone together. I cannot fly for you, and you cannot fly for me. But we can share the sky together and remind each other to keep on flying forwards, keep on going forward, keep on going ahead. Still Matthews writes, "No birth, no death, just like cloud never dies." Yes, that's very poetic. There's at the moment I have to be honest and say that I'm still a bit uncomfortable sharing all of my insights, because the things that I have experienced and my understanding of my perspective of myself and my body, a lot of it has come through self-study. And if I was to divulge too much, too early, too quickly, I feel that some are not yet ready. But in time, I feel people will be ready. And I shall, as time goes by, slowly share more. EB writes, "This is awesome." Well, EB, you're awesome. Aaron Williamson writes, "Did you ever take drugs to mask your pain or hide your struggles in your past?" That's a really good question, Aaron. Well, in the past, I did. You know, I haven't always been like this. This avatar that is sharing space and time with you now was not always here. There was a time in my life where I was like a feather in the wind, like a lost soul, like someone had buried his head in the sand, like a angry and sad shadow at the bottom of the well. And there was time when I would take drugs as a way to escape, or what I felt was escape. But looking back in hindsight, I did certain things just to distract myself from really allowing time to understand myself, to understand why it was that I was the way I was. You know, I started smoking weed before, tried to forget certain things, and then after a while I forgot what I was thinking about, and all I was doing was just smoking. I would spend hours and days just at home, like a recluse, like a hermit, just smoking my life away, wake and bake. So yes, I did. Whenever I speak, whatever I speak of, it's because I've experienced it, you know. I can relate to many people on many different levels. And that's why I keep on I say is, no matter how bad you think your life is at the moment, I promise you, it's, you know, it's all good. It's all part of the journey. You just keep on having faith and just remind yourself, if you don't like the situation you're in, man, it don't have to be this way anymore. You can change. And then the next chapter of your life will start. So from life to death, it's all a big adventure. It's all good. Corey Clark writes, you're an inspiration. I feel the unconditional love you have for people just through the stream. Thanks, bro. Your life experiences are helping people, and we should all do that for one another. And thank you, Corey. And yes, just live by example, you know. You know, there was a time when I was pointing fingers, isn't it? When I was in pain, when I was angry, when I was disillusioned, in disharmony, when I was very apathetic to what was happening around. I had become isolated and alienated and always pointing fingers, always trying to find something else to blame. But it's not until you start, for myself, when I started to really seek to change from within, because I realized, you know, you can't change anyone. You can't change anyone's perspective. You can't change the understanding. The only one you can really change is your own perspective. And if you do that, and you do it with 100% commitment, you know, with glory, with courage, fearless, just live by example, and man, like a candle in the light, in the dark, you become a light. And before you know it, you start to inspire. It just takes one match to set the whole forest aflame. You can be that kindle. You can be that flame. Will Thompson writes, where did you learn Kung Fu? Will, there's a thing that I practice, is my family tradition, Li Qi Gong. It's a form of Qigong, which is the study or the cultivation of energy through practical and conscious movement. It's like a form of moving meditation, and watching the breath, studying the breath, allowing the breath to come and go, it plays a major part in it. So it is a form of martial art, it's a form of internal martial art. But the martial art that I practice is to heal internally, but also to help others. I've said this, you know, in my videos, and I try to remind other martial artists that instead of practicing to, you know, to defend and attack and counter-attack, why not practice to massage one another as well? Because it is a form of martial arts. We describe it as a yin form, a soft form, a yielding form. It's very powerful. And a good example and metaphor to use is yang is like a boulder or a tree or granite or crystal. But yin, the feminine, the soft, the yielding force, is like water. And we all know if we leave even a diamond underneath a waterfall, eventually, in time, even if it's through eons, that diamond will eventually become obliterated too. So I encourage other martial artists to practice massage or some form of therapy that helps our fellow human. Because in the world right now, we need more healers, man. We need it. And I'm not afraid to live by example. I'm not afraid of ridicule. I'm not afraid to help. And it would become so much more easier if more people started to do the same, you know. And we can all practice this. Like hugging one another is like one of the best massages you can give one another. You could just hug someone and all their troubles seem to melt away. You don't even need to know how to massage. That hug there is a massage. You know, as we get older, this society that I'm experiencing in my life at the moment, people are becoming more distant, you know. I see less hugging of our children, less hugging of our parents, you know. We need to show more closeness. We need to allow our paranoia to a back seat. We need to be very open and loving to one another. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 writes, hello Kai, can I ask you how do you deal with having hatred and regret for how you used to be? I was a horrible person until a couple of years ago and it eats me up. I can completely relate to you, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Once again, keep on watching the breath. Keep on watching it. Study yourself. You'll start realizing why it is that it is still eating you up. It's very easy for me to say that, those things that you did were in the past. Very easy for me to say that, but I know that these things that you're feeling, they're still inside. But my best advice to you, coming from someone who in the past did some very bad things, and there was a time when I spent time in prison, and I'd been in and out of psychiatric homes, but I also was in prison. And I was, you know, I don't want people to be mistaken that I was born a saint. You know, I came from the sewers. You know, I came from manure. I came from shit to become the person I am today. So I can relate to you when the past is eating you up. The best advice I can say to you is watch that breath. Keep on watching the breath come and go. Keep on observing how your body is reacting to it. Eventually, the layers stop peeling away. Keep on doing it, and the more you start learning about yourself, when we say learn, it just means to observe. Be like a child, like a toddler, with your eyes wide open. Just behold and observe how your body reacts to you holding on to that breath and not letting it come and go. Keep on doing it until you have to let go of the breath, and you'll feel a sense of euphoria, a sense of liberation for a brief moment. But the more you do that, the more you'll be able to allow the breath to come and go. And this will be reflected in the way that your body feels. Your body starts becoming much more relaxed when you are able to allow the breath to come and go. And this too is then reflected in the way you see yourself, the way you are conducting your perspective within your mind's eye. Things start becoming clearer. I promise you, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Keep on beholding, watching the breath come and go. Madrid, so good to hear from you again, bro. Madrid writes, hello Master Kai, how are you doing? I hope you had a lovely day. Well Madrid, it's nice to see you again. And I've been having a wonderful day, and I hope you have been having a wonderful day and continue to have a wonderful day. Gary writes, it does, thanks. James D writes, is that actual rain? Yes, indeed it is. Right now I'm sat in front of my desk. It's usually a stand-up desk, but to do these streams I have been sitting down. I don't want to make too much noise creaking on the floor, but this desk to the right of me is right by the window, so you can hear the rain, the droplets of rain falling from heaven to the ground. And there's a retracted So if your messages become retracted, it's probably because of a filter that I've added. Maybe some kind of profanity or something like this. So please be mindful of what you wish to leave on the comments, and be aware that these comments will be maybe read for future generations. I make fun sometimes saying that many of us, we tend to have mind farts and mind diarrhea, where we just say things that we shouldn't have said. Just be aware that, you know, future generations will be reading, or will be looking back at our actions, and you know, why not leave a good impression? Wolfcat Wildcat writes, Kai, when you did your massage helping your dad, he looked amazing. Hope your family's doing well. Yes, my parents are, yeah, they're doing pretty well, you know. My father is 72 years old now, and friends and strangers always get surprised when he mentions his age. And I'm very grateful that I was, and humbled that my parents were my parents. Even through my trials and tribulations, they were always there. They was always there for me to return to. They always left the door open, even though I spent many years traveling and getting lost. My parents are, yeah, they're very wonderful beings. I can see why I chose them as parents. Gary writes, it does, thanks. Okay, maybe Steel Matthew writes, yes. Tick Nut Hang saying, amazing man, even though I'm not a Buddhist. Yes, rest in peace. That gentleman, that sentient being, passed away, and he was a Vietnamese Buddhist, or practicing Buddhist monk. Yeah, they're some wonderful beings. And whenever you acknowledge something for someone, it's because there's a part of you that recognizes it, you know. There's a saying, we say, it takes one to know one. So if you compliment someone, or if you see good in someone, it's because, you know, you see that good in yourself. You're just calling out whatever you know. That kind of makes sense, doesn't it? We only know what we know, really. You can't describe something that you haven't fathomed before. You know, we can't describe something that we have not experienced before. So often I read comments where people might make a certain judgment or an assumption, and they have done so without not having any experience in what they have just said or remarked. So it's, you know, but a fundamental thing, one that is very important from my perspective, is to know thyself. And the best way to study yourself in the beginning is just to watch your breath. Because what you see as yourself is not that thing in the mirror. When you look in the mirror, I promise you, you're only seeing what you want to see. When you look in the mirror, you are using your imagination to see what it is that you want to see. Because I promise you, what you really are has no body. You are in possession of a body. Yes, we need this body to experience this life. But this thing that is aware, this thing that is using the senses to extrapolate, to turn into imagination, that thing there, it has no body. So if you keep on watching the breath, you are able to differentiate between the body and what it is you believe yourself to be. And that there is the root, the tangible method to studying and knowing thyself. Om Beautiful Om. And still Matthew continues saying about take, hang the Buddhist monk, that he respects what he has to say. Elon Bust writes, hello. Hello, Elon. Apex Grind writes, love your wisdom. Long Beach, California. I send my love and my gratitude and best wishes to you, Apex, in Long Beach, California. And I hope that you're feeling more relaxed and calm, and you're taking this time now just to chill, man. But thank you so much for joining us. EB writes, being alive is gorgeous. Yes, it is. Completely. Being alive is sublime. It's wonderful. It's amazing. It's magnificent. It's enigmatic. It's paradoxical. It's blended. It's everything and more. And being alive together. Whew, guys, being alive together. We're like an orchestra. We're like a symphony together. All of us. Every single of us are needed to make this beautiful song and dance, this circus, this grand finale, this celebration. Being alive and together, it's amazing. No Name writes, what up? Have you ever practiced a Western occult technique or tradition, or been interested in it? Peace. It's nice to hear from you, No Name. I do remember the people that come on. I've read the Bible. I have read other scriptures. I've read just bits and bobs or translation of the Quran. I've spoken and I've spent time with other beings that have different belief systems, not necessarily occult, things like this. Everyone has a belief system, isn't it? Regardless if it's a religion or way of life. I've spent time with many different people. I just feel that everyone has the right to live their experience however they wish. But one thing that is common, that I feel should be fundamental, is that we should all allow each other to live our life in such a way that we do not restrict other beings their right to live their life. It's very simple, isn't it? Such a simple way to flow through life. Elon Bus writes, hi Kai. I don't know if you touched on this before, but what brought to Islam? So yes, I reverted to Islam. It was something that I feel was going to happen. It was inevitable. I just say it's Allah. That's the best way I can say it. And I hope that answers the question. Dane writes, I have been thinking a lot about what we talked about on your last stream. Food for thought, isn't it, Dane? Some things to contemplate, to take the edge of things that might be worrying you. And I hope you have learnt a bit more about yourself through your contemplation. Still, Matthew writes, rain is beautiful in the winter. Here I just fall asleep when I hear the rain. Oh, rain's amazing. You see, rain, it falls almost like it's random, isn't it? And if you listen carefully, you might hear patterns. But then if you don't listen, the patterns still seem like patterns. But it's nice nature. Whenever we think that things are the same, nature reminds us that things are always changing, they're forever changing. We only see patterns where we want to see them. Apex Grind writes, what is your view on Jesus? I don't often contemplate, I don't often think about things. Regarding Jesus, I'm very aware that he was a person or being that many people believe in. Other than that, that's all I can really say. Everyone has a right to what they believe in, isn't it? For myself, it's always about the present moment. I have a profound faith that there is one creator, but at the same time, I do not spend my every waking moment trying to understand why it is that I'm here. In that way, I just have faith that everything will be fine, and whatever is going to be waiting for me will come, and that in my everyday life, in the present moment, for me just to be honest with myself, to be loving, to be helpful whenever I can, and as I mentioned, to allow other beings to live however they wish to, as long as they allow others as well. And that's it. I'm a very simple man, very simple man. Matthew Tremlett writes, hey. Well, hey back, Matthew. That Tourette's gamer, just want to say you're an awesome guy. After heavy gaming sessions, you get me to sleep most nights, mate. Thank you for what you do. It's been a great journey so far. Never stop. Well, thank you so much, the Tourette's gamer. That was a wonderful comment, and thank you for the acknowledgement. And yes, I hope you will have a very relaxing time, relaxing moment before you slumber. So it's coming to 5 minutes to midnight. I thank you wherever and whenever you are listening right now for listening to this Zen Chill with Tao Chi Kai on the 5th of September 2022. And I'd like to also thank all the people that are present right now, sharing this space and time with myself and others. Thank you so much for joining. I hope you are acknowledging and allowing and very aware that this is your time right now, just to let everything go. Maybe find a nice, comfortable position, or allow your body to just have a little wiggle about, a little stretch, a little roly-poly. And all together now, everyone, let's do this together. Gentle breath through the nostrils, smile as you feel your body expand, and then sigh. Feeling and observing your body just settle further. And in your own time, gentle breath through the nostrils, smile. Feel your body expand, and then sigh. Feeling your body feel heavier. It's almost like you're sinking. Just as you're listening to my voice, just become aware that everything is perfect the way it is at the moment. We're just here, sharing space, sharing time, and it's wonderful. And just know safety in the knowledge that everything is happening all by itself. That heart that is pumping in your chest is beating by itself. All of your organs, all the blood, everything is just doing everything by itself. And you, this perspective, this character, this wonderful character, you could just observe, behold. Matthew Tremlett writes, my first time here on your live stream, but love your videos. Welcome, Matthew. Thank you so much for joining. Love Hate Games writes, hi Kai, I just want to thank you for the work you have done on your channel. It's really peaceful to watch and overall just great to watch. Thank you, Love Hate Games. Thank you for taking your time to watch. And also thank you for joining us now. Steely Matthew writes, Vancouver is a rainforest. That helps. Ah, what a beautiful image, eh? Can you imagine one day our cities will have just greenery everywhere? You know, we'll have like plants and trees growing on our rooftops and, you know, solar panels and everywhere just being shrubbery. And we'll have wildlife just roaming about in our cities. You know, I really believe that we can have a beautiful harmony, a balance with nature. You know, we can have a balance of technology and nature. It's possible, you know. Anything's possible if you believe. Wolfcat Wildcat writes at Steel Matthews, have you slept to the sound of swirling snowy winds of winter? That sounds beautiful, sounds amazing. Tofu Chris writes, hi Master Kai, thanks for the great videos, love these Zen Chill chats. Quick question, I have a difficult time getting up early in the morning, any tips? I love the morning air but can't get myself up. That's a really good question. That's a first time for this question. Thank you so much. So what you're going to need to do, if you want to, if you really want to change, is every day
You live, you learn, and you upgrade.
sleep a little bit earlier. Just a little bit. Maybe say to yourself, be very adamant, you know, make that conscious choice that today I'm going to sleep 2 minutes earlier than I normally do. If you're feeling a bit more adventurous, maybe say, oh, today I'm going to sleep 10 minutes earlier than I normally do. And do this each day. So eventually you can make yourself sleep maybe an hour earlier or 2 hours earlier. That really depends on you. But what also helps is it depends on how active you've been during the day. You know, you might find that if you are stagnant or if you have not been active during the day, you might find it a bit harder to sleep at night. What really helps our body want to fall asleep and also have our mind look forward to dreams is that if we experience things during the day, you know, if you go out and meet different people and experience different things, you give your body exercise, you know, but at the same time, you give your memory things or your mind things to, you know, to figure out during dream state. So those are the two things I recommend. One is to sleep a little bit early each day. Maybe start off with just a minute early each day, but be very consistent. You know, you have to be committed if you want to change, but also be a bit more active. So maybe start off with saying, oh, today I'm going to do 5 minutes of jogging or 5 minutes of walking around in a circle, whatever it is. And then the next day you might do another 5 minutes, and you do that for a week. And then the week after that you might increase it to 10 minutes a day, do that for a week, and then the week after that, increase it to 15 minutes a day. It's really up to you what increments you use. But the most important thing is that you consciously make the effort, the choice, and change, to change. And here's the thing about change. You will know you have changed, or you know you have changed, when you can no longer remember how you was before. That there is true change. Till Matthew writes, well, not really, maybe last winter. Only times it's quite quiet for snowy days here at Wildcat. At Danny Brun's relaxing rainy night in London tonight. Yes, indeed, Danny, a fellow Londoner. It's so nice every now and then to have this kind of rain, isn't it? I love the smell of grass and green, you know, after rain. Such a refreshing smell. Owen Thomas writes, do you believe some people have clairvoyant abilities? I once experienced a prayer with a deeply alive and present priest that shared words with me, and I occasionally ponder its significance. So that's a question. You know, Owen, I tend not to think too much about things, you know. I'm a very simple guy. But, you know, I don't know. I can't say yes or no. Quite possibly. Because there's many things in life that we don't truly understand. You know, many things we don't know unless we experienced it for ourselves. So if there are people out there that believe they are clairvoyant, then that's what I have to take for granted, that that's what they believe. And in terms of you having this experience with the priest, was it in dream state or was it in awakened state? You know, what's the difference? And the significance of it, it must be. Maybe one day you will find the significance, or you will realize what it was all about. Food for thought, I guess. The dandy artist writes, after a heavy year of work and grief, I felt my soul was burned out. But then you came to me like a guiding spirit to make myself appreciate life again. Thank you, Kai. Thank you. Hey, Dandy. You know, thank you so much for sharing that. That was beautiful. It was very heartfelt, you sharing that. You know, to let us know what you've been going through. You know, I find when we do this, when we share openly like this, it's very inspirational, you know. We inspire others just to share what's going on in our lives, to not believe that we have to experience it alone, because the more we share, we realize that, hey, we're all on the same boat. You know, not everything is dandy, not everything is fine. Sometimes it might feel a bit grey and dark, and it's okay to let other people know. So I thank you so much for sharing. And yes, you know, everything that I do really in my life is just to try to help out. That's why I was reborn. It's a nice feeling to know that, you know, you're needed. So I give advice. I tell people that if you feel depressed, if you feel like what's the point, hey, go out there, spend some time with someone who's just about to die. You know, you could write a letter to your local hospice, a place where people go, you know, the elderly go, and they literally go there to wait to die, because some people have no family. You know, maybe spend some time with those people, you know, have a little chat with them, or maybe go and help out at a charity. You know, if you feel that things are down, if you feel whichever way, I recommend either go out there and help people, or spend time with someone who's going to pass away, and you'll be reminded very quickly, very solemnly, that the life that we are experiencing right now is very precious. It's sad, we know it's sad sometimes, but at the same time it's wonderful. You know, how are we going to know love and joy without any sadness and anger? You know, how are we to learn if we do not allow ourselves to be foolish every now and then? You know, sometimes we need to fall down so we know how it is to get up. Brian Smith writes, any thoughts on how to deal with chronic pain? So Brian, it's a pretty general question you've asked, or maybe to elaborate. But if it's chronic pain due to an injury, maybe through an accident or self-inflicted, it really does depend. But one of the things that can really help is maybe find some kind of therapist that can give you some more mobility, maybe a change in diet. What can really help is to have better sleep, maybe add some creativity in your life. Sometimes just allowing ourselves to express ourselves creatively might help ease the pain as well. Some people find dancing or even singing helping, or just gentle exercises in water, like swimming. If you can't swim, just be like a child and play in the waters. Because in a water medium, there's less pull on the body. It's much more gentle on the body. So I've tried to answer very generally that question, and I hope that helps. A non-Mughal writes, thanks for this, Kai. I've been struggling with a job hunt lately, and having this to relax with is amazing for focusing on. Resume redesigns and keeping a positive mindset. Cheers. On a non-Mughal, well, I'm not going to wish you any luck, because you're going to find that job. That's it, just take your time. Maybe be a bit more optimistic, isn't it? If you ain't going to hear nothing today, you might hear something tomorrow. But it's all a law of probability, isn't it? The more you apply for, the more likely you're going to get something back. And it's exciting to see what you're going to end up with. I'm not sure how old you are, and if this is your first job or whatever it is, but it's always a bit potluck, isn't it? To start a new job, and you're going to have to meet your new colleagues or teammates and stuff. It's exciting times. But cheers, and thank you so much for joining, and I'm glad I'm helping you in some way. Steely Matthew writes, yes, we have all that here, and we have lots of beautiful spaces, parks, mostly with trees. Stanley Park is the best one. And he continues, the funny part, we have rabbits that eat at the beach. Oh. Is that Vancouver? Is that, you mentioned Vancouver, but yes. Andrew Scott writes, thank you so much for your videos. Today has not been a great headspace day for me, so listening to your calming presence has been just what I needed. Much love from Lincolnshire. Andrew, man. Well, I'm glad that you're feeling some kind of relaxation now, isn't it? Just knowing that, hey, it's the end of the day, which is winding down now, and it's your time. This is your time just to relax, just to let go. And Lincolnshire, wow. Well, best wishes, and thank you so much for joining us. Elon Bus writes, when you wake, don't grab for your phone, breathe in for the moment and embrace the day. Yes. So when I become aware of awakened state, when I wear on this avatar, the first thing that this body does is smile. That's why I often practice, breathing in through your nostrils and smiling. I've been sighing. So when I wake, my body breathes in gently through your nostrils. I feel my body fill up with this chi, with this energy. It's almost like I'm wearing my body. And I smile as I do so. And then I sigh or I yawn. I yawn the air or the breath out. And I do this a bunch of times, and that's it. That's me. I've got my body on. And then I'll roll off the bed. And first thing I do is start doing my qigong, and I have my routine, isn't it? We all have our routines. So for those of us, if we really want to change, it's all about routines. There's certain things in our lifestyle. We could change our lifestyle habits. If you want to reprogram yourself, you could do it incrementally. Just make a plan and stick to it, and just be steadfast. Just be patient with yourself, and just keep on going forward, keep on changing slowly but surely. It always starts with that smile, with that first breath in the morning, that acknowledging breath. And just thank the universe, thank yourself if you want to, that wow, you're alive, and all of this good and bad is all for you to enjoy. Tofu Chris writes, thanks for the wonderful insight on getting up early, Master Kai. All of your tips make sense, much appreciated. Thanks to at Elon Bus for the tip too. Cheers. Dom writes, focus on your breathing, remember your breath. Elon Bus has an emoji with the palms pressed to the heart, and that's towards Tofu Chris for his acknowledgement. Wolfcat Wildcat writes, we just finished our Labour Day here alone, here alone weekend here. Soon the changing colourful leaves and the change to colour nights of autumn. Yes, the changing of the seasons. I often observe nature in all its glory, from the micro to the macro, and nature always reminds me that things are forever changing. It's such a wonderful thing to acknowledge and to recognize that things are always forever changing. Ellen MTA RP, hello Brazil. Joe Jordan writes, any tips when it comes to frozen shoulder? It's very uncomfortable. I've got a bunch of videos, on my Instagram. If you want to check those out, you might have to scroll down a bit. So for those of you who want to follow me on Instagram and or Facebook, it's at Riding the Wave of Love. You'll find what I do behind the scenes. You'll get to watch previews before they come out on YouTube, and just have a little peek at my life, my everyday life. There's bits of philosophy there, there's things to do Qigong, there's videos that help, including videos to do frozen shoulders. Please follow and send me a message telling me, saying hi or something. But regarding the frozen shoulder, Joe Jordan, what I recommend is to really start to become aware of your spine. Become very aware of your spine, and you do this by moving your spine from your tail all the way up towards your head. It's almost like you're pretending to be a snake or a serpent or even a rope. Just move your spine, and as you do this, eventually you'll find that your shoulders are gonna start wanting to follow the movement of the spine. If you keep on doing this, eventually the part of the back that is connected through nerves to the shoulders, they will start to get reconnected again, and that will start sending pulses or allow you to be able to visualize your shoulders, your frozen shoulder again. We get frozen shoulder either through repetitive strain, injury, which means repeating the same movements over and over again, or it could be things like leaning on the table with our elbow and pushing our shoulder up for extended moments of time. It's things where you are not really allowing your shoulders to move freely, either forcing it in one position or forcing it to do repetitive motions and tiring all the muscles, connected to that joint. So what I recommend is to move the whole of the spine almost like it's a rope or a serpent or a snake, from the tail all the way up towards the crown. If you keep on doing this, you start getting a visualization, more awareness of your spine, and eventually the shoulder will start getting involved. So please take a look at my Instagram at Riding the Wave of Love and scroll down. There's a bunch of videos there that will help. There is a video that I have entitled, "What is the sound of one hand clapping?" What is the sound of one hand clapping? We'll find out. Onamuga writes, "Thanks Kai, I appreciate it." Well, I appreciate you. Thank you for acknowledging. Celine Matthews writes, "Thank you for ya." You Canadians, so nice. I've never met a not nice Canadian in my experience. Every Canadian I've ever met has been nice. It's very refreshing. Wolfcat Wildcat writes at Steely Matthews, "Oh, and I want to visit there one day. Waves from Ontario." To these two Canadians. Do you see how nice they are to one another? Brian Smith left a message that was retracted. So just to remind people that if I have filters that retract certain words and certain phrases, and if you have used one of those words or phrases, yeah, your message just gets retracted. Steely Matthews writes at Wolfcat Wildcat, "That's a great, yeah, Vancouver is a great city, lots of rain, but if you like that, then this is your type of place." Brian Smith writes, "Do you practice energy healing like Reiki? Does it work? And I wonder if it's just a placebo." And he continues, "Energy healing modalities like Reiki." Okay. I have met other therapists that dabble or do Reiki. I have had Reiki practiced on me. In my experience, for me, it would have been placebo for me. But I can only speak from my perspective and my experience of it so far. In terms of energy, you know, as scientists, as physicists, they still don't really understand what energy is. But myself, coming from a alternative, traditional, holistic philosophy, you know, my idea of energy is it can be felt, it can be redirected, it can be focused, and a lot of it is to do with intention. You know, I'll give you an example. When we talk about Reiki, I think a good example is, from my understanding, is, you know, sometimes if you're a ticklish person, if someone just comes close to that area that you're ticklish, you might start giggling, or you might be reacting even before they've touched it. So that there is a kind of idea of what Reiki or energy possibly can be. You know, some people describe it as the ethereal body or the mind body. But I haven't really contemplated that much about it, Brian Smith. I haven't really, you know, I don't really think about stuff like that often. But thank you so much for the question. JL writes, "Love your videos, buddy. Did you see the lightning earlier from New Cross Gate?" Ah, shouts out to New Cross Gate, massive. And thank you for joining us, JL. Rodney Trailer writes, "Thanks for everything you bring to us. Much love and respect from Dallas, Texas." Ah, all the way from Dallas, Texas. Thank you, Rodney Trailer, for joining. It's you know, thank you for being here. And massive love and respects to you and your family. So it's coming to 25 parts midnight. It's the 5th, it's the 6th of September 2022. We're coming now towards the end of this stream because I need to sleep. It's gone past my bedtime. So hopefully I will see you all on the next stream. It will start a bit earlier next time. I'm slowly going to be doing these streams earlier and earlier each time. Just to, you know, it's almost like I'm fishing for you guys, isn't it? And if you can't catch me live, you can always watch this on a replay because it's recorded. You know, you could be, you know, traveling to work, or you might be on the way to the office, or you might be even be in the office, or you're commuting on the train or the subway, or on the passenger seat of a car, or maybe you're on the back of a bike, or maybe you're on top of an elephant, you know, listening to this right now. I thank you for being you. You know, thank you for all the joy and all the woe that you can share with us. And I want to thank everyone that's been here, especially for those who've been here from the beginning, because I know there's a bunch of you, just, I don't know why, but you guys are just always here from the beginning, and I greatly appreciate your presence. You guys are amazing. But yes, thank you to everyone. I'm going to read the last of these comments, and we're going to start to say goodbye. Rodney Trailer writes, thanks for everything you bring to us. Much love and respect from Dallas, Texas. Okay. And the last one is, JO writes, you have one of the most soothing voices on YouTube, man. Keep it up. Or keep it coming. Well, you got one of the smoothest ears. Or your ears must be smooth. Madriff writes, thank you for another relaxing stream. I was writing an article while listening to you, and your voice really kept me relaxed. Sleep well, and see you on the next stream. It's always a pleasure to read, to hear from you, Madriff. I read your comments as well on my videos. But everyone, you know, I really need to call it a night now. I'm very tired. I've got a long day ahead. I've got a bunch of people that I'm going to be helping. And, wow, what can I say? Someone's already said early on that life is gorgeous. And you are all gorgeous. We are all beautiful flowers. You know, we're beautiful waves. You know, every single one of us are the ocean, or droplets in the same ocean. We're all like flowing and co-creating this place we call life. But please, one last time everyone, let's do this together. Take a gentle breath through your nostrils and smile as you acknowledge the breath expanding and coursing through your body, filling every space and gap. And then sigh. Let's do it again. In your own time, gentle breath through the nose and smile, feeling the body expand. Then sigh. If you do this often, the sigh becomes a breathing through the nostrils, smiling, and then sighing. Do this often. Do this whenever you feel disarray. Do this when you want to feel peaceful and grounded and calm. Do this before you want to sleep. Do this before you want or you need to make an important decision, just take your time, enjoy yourself. This is your life. Until the next time, until the next Zen Chill with Tao Chi Kai, everyone, I bid you good night, good day, good afternoon, good evening, a good week. I am the avatar known as Tao Chi Kai. Om Nidafuwa.